Moments ago, Donald Trump called into a right-wing radio show to tell them that he is not weird, and he wants them to know that they are weird and he isn't weird. Here's what Donald Trump said. Play this clip.
Well, they're the weird ones, and if you've ever seen her with the laugh and everything else, that's a weird deal going on there. They're the weird ones. Nobody's ever called me weird. I'm a lot of things, but weird I'm not, and I'm up front. And he's not either, I will tell you. JD is not at all. They are.
Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign wrote, Trump, who is weird, called in and said that. They also posted the following. This is weird. Trump and Vance have backed states that want to surveil pregnant women. That's right. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance support the state's ability to engage in surveillance on pregnant women and on women's periods, if that's what the state chooses to do. Donald Trump recently said in an interview that he would be okay with that. Play the clip.
Running that say that you would support certain states with bans monitoring a woman's pregnancy.
Well, that would be up to the states. Again, they will make a decision as to how they do it.
As Donald Trump continues to spiral out of the control and call up radio stations saying that he isn't weird, Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign just dropped this video to further mock him. Play this clip.
Well, Donald, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
By the way, everybody was talking about Donald Trump's disastrous interview he gave with the National Association of Black Journalists and the incredible job done by Rachel Scott in questioning Donald Trump. Here, Alyssa Farah Griffin, who used to work for Donald Trump, goes on The View. And here's what she has to say. Play the clip.
Despicable, and if you didn't know who he was, he's saying it very loudly. I do want to give kudos to ABC's Rachel Scott, who's just amazing, and Katia Globa did an excellent job holding his feet to the fire. And there is something about when women challenge him that he unravels. And what I was struck by wasn't just the blatant racism, the lack of understanding of what it means to be biracial. I've said this for a while. He is slowing down. He's never been a super eloquent person. He did not seem mentally sharp. He walked into
good how you said that.
He walked into a room of black journalists, and it seemed like he was kind of blurting out loud what he says privately with his advisors. Like he didn't even try to hide or mask the racism. And that to me is a sign of decline. It's a sign if he was asked, should he take a mental acuity test? I think he should. He does not seem right. He kind of came off like your crazy great uncle that you hope doesn't show up to the family event.
On the other hand, Donald Trump was exposed today for more Trumpian lies, where Donald Trump said that it would require him to be in office to free hostages from Russia. President Biden then freed the hostages from Russia. Here's how it started. Here's how it's going. Play the clip.
Evan Gershkovich, the reporter from the Wall Street Journal who is being held by Russia, will be released almost immediately after the election, but definitely before I assume office. He will be home. He will be safe. Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, will do that for me, and I don't believe he'll do it for anyone else.
Today, we're bringing home Paul, Evan, Alsu, Vladimir. 3 American citizens and 1 American green card holder. All 4 have been imprisoned unjustly in Russia. Their brutal ordeal is over, and they're free. Moments ago, the families and I were able to speak to them on the telephone from the Oval Office. They're out of Russia. Earlier today, they were flown to Turkey, and soon they'll be wheels up on their way home to see their families.
Also like that President Biden and the White House account posted this to further troll Donald Trump and the MAGA supporters of Trump. Nancy Mace wrote, and a lot of MAGA people were writing, Biden is MIA. Why is no one talking about it? Where is Biden? They were posting this over and over again. And the White House account goes, he's been busy. And they reposted President Biden saying, "Today I stood beside the families of Paul, Evan, Alsu, and Vladimir in the Oval Office as they spoke to their loved ones for the first time since they regained freedom. These families never lost hope, and today they'll each be reunited with the missing piece of their soul." By the way, Nancy Mace is one of these MAGA Republicans who engages in this like weird behavior. Like she wore a scarlet letter and then attacked Kevin McCarthy and said, did this whole like performative scarlet letter thing. Here, play this clip.
I'm wearing the scarlet letter after the week that I just had last week, being a woman up here and being demonized for my vote and for my voice. I'm here to let the rest of the world know and the country know I'm on the side of the people. I'm not on the side of the establishment, and I'm going to do the right thing every single time, no matter the consequences, because I don't answer to anybody in D.C. I don't answer to anyone in Washington. I only answer to the people. Thank you.
Nancy Mace would also talk in front of religious groups, and she would speak about having sex with her boyfriend or her boyfriend wanting to have sex with her, and that's why she's late before religious groups. Play the clip. Very, very Trumpian, right? Play the clip.
On this together, another year, another standing room only event. And when I woke up this morning at 7, I was getting picked up at 7:45. Patrick, my fiance, tried to pull me by my waist over this morning in bed. And I was like, no, baby, we don't got time for that this morning. I got to get to the prayer breakfast and I got to be on time, and a little TMI. But he can wait. I'll see him later tonight. But I was here early.
J.D. Vance then doubled down on calling Americans without children sociopathic. Play the clip.
I'm happy to defend what I said because what I said is true. The Democrats have become anti-family. I think it's a huge mistake for our country to go to that direction. And that's
more unearthed footage of Donald Trump was released where he said that his relationship with Project 2025 leaders was part of his winning formula. Play the clip.
Already we have shown the power of our winning formula, working closely with many of the great people at Heritage over the 4 incredible years that we've worked with you a lot. And we were just discussing it with Kevin Plain. They're going to work on some other things that are going to be very exciting, I think, Kevin. I think maybe the most exciting of all.
J.D. Vance acting very weird with Kari Lake and announcing how lucky people are to have Kari Lake run for the Senate in Arizona. Play the clip.
wow. You guys are so lucky to get to vote for Kari Lake to be your next United States Senator. Wow. Just amazing.
And here's Simon Rosenberg when I interviewed him before. I think he hit the nail on the head here about the momentum shift we're seeing. Play the clip.
Look, I think that when you look back at this magical moment that we're in now, there are 3 things that really contributed to it. One was the picking of Vance, which I think undermined Trump's ability to gain at the convention. It sort of, I think, scared even Republicans, given how extreme he was. And it put downward pressure on their convention bounce. 2 is Joe Biden's selfless act. And 3 is Kamala Harris, coming out of the gate in a very commanding and strong fashion. I think all of these 3 things together have congealed into this moment that we're in. But central to them was Trump's picking of Vance and Vance's just outrageous extremism, the crazy things that he's saying, which are just coming, look, he did a lot of interviews, right? And so every day we're finding new crazy stuff that he said. And I have a feeling that's going to go on for weeks and weeks to come. And there's no way for them to turn that off. And so I don't really know what they're going to do. I mean, I think Trump I don't think mentioned Vance yesterday at all. When he was asked about him being ready on day 1, he gave this crazy answer that VPs don't matter, right? So it's clear that he's regretting the decision. He's aware that it's dragging the entire ticket down. And I think in his own diseased brain, he started punishing Vance by now raising this issue of biracial heritage and everything else, which is obviously going to make this campaign very uncomfortable for J.D. Vance, his wife, and their 3 children.
Here is UAW President Sean Fain summing up how Vice President Kamala Harris and President Biden always stood with unions. Play the clip.
2019, GM was on strike for 40 days. Donald Trump was nowhere to be found. Didn't say nothing, do nothing. Now let's look at Kamala Harris. 2019, you want to know where she was when GM was on strike for 40 days? She was on the picket line, standing there with them. She stood with workers on strike. You look at 2023 in our sit-down strike last year, our stand-up strike, and you look at what was going on with Lordstown workers under Trump got left behind. Their plant got closed in Ohio. Workers were scattered all over the country to GM plants. Under Biden and Harris and their administration, they went to work with us in bargaining to save a community in Belvedere, Illinois. Contrary to what Trump says, through the IRA, the Biden-Harris administration created billions of dollars to encourage companies to locate battery work in the USA and to partner with unions in doing that. So they would be good paying jobs, standard setting jobs. You go back now in Lordstown, Ohio, where Trump left people behind and they were dispersed all over the country. Under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, workers are now transferring back to Lordstown because they can get a job at the Altium battery plant there. They're bringing people home that Trump left behind. And on top of that, like I said, Belvedere, Illinois, same story. That plant was left for dead. The Biden administration, Kamala Harris went to work with us to find out what they could do. They got billions of dollars put in play to help save that community. There's product going there. There's a battery plant going there. And so it's a tale of two stories here. Donald Trump represents the billionaire class and the corporate class. And Kamala Harris has a history and a track record of standing up with working class people. So it makes the decision pretty easy for us.
And here was Vice President Kamala Harris's speech the other night in Houston. Play the clip.
You may have seen their agenda. They call it Project 2025. Right. And it is a 900-page agenda of extremism. Project 2025 would raise taxes on middle-class families and cut taxes for billionaires, eliminate the Department of Education, and end programs like Head Start, which of course would take away preschool from hundreds of thousands of our children. All of this to build on what Donald Trump did in his first term. When he was president, he gave tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations. He tried to cut Social Security and Medicare every single year. And he and his allies have tried more than 60 times to end the Affordable Care Act and to take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Remember what that was? Denying children with asthma, breast cancer survivors, grandparents with diabetes. And America has tried these failed policies before. And we are not going back. We are not going back. We all here remember what those 4 years were like. And today, we were given yet another reminder.
Meanwhile, one of the heads of Donald Trump's campaign, Chris LaCivita, is posting this photo of Tony Soprano giving a middle finger. Fake mobster, great way to remind people of who Trump is. And then a lot of Donald Trump supporters are saying to his campaign manager, you are running the Trump campaign into the ground. You've lost every major opportunity to drive the narrative in the month of July. Those 15 minutes I thought about turning back to vote for Trump were the most useless 15 minutes of my life. Are you fired yet? You are so out of touch. You are a snake, and I believe you're doing this on purpose. So Trump is not elected. He needs to fire you. You should be fired from the Trump campaign. Yeah, things are going well there, folks. Things are going well. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million more on The Meltdown.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.